Hey guys, Kacha here with the Village Mercantile. We are back to talking about forage and hay with the continued drought and other things going on across the country. Don't want to necessarily call it a hay shortage, but hay is getting harder to find. It's getting more expensive. And so I wanted to talk about some options that you might be able to include in your feed regimen to help you stretch hay, or just other options if something might be out of stock temporarily. Currently, our supply is pretty good. We're running into more logistical issues trying to get hay here. So we're doing our best, but every once in a while we might run out of something. So again, just trying to give you options of products maybe you haven't heard about or you weren't really sure about trying. So hopefully this can answer some questions, kind of give you a little bit more inside look of what we have to offer. And of course, we're always here to answer questions, and you can always get with your veterinarian for other options. Wanted to start with kind of probably the easiest thing to incorporate into your feed regimen, which are pellets and cubes. We stock a very wide variety, so it's really pretty easy to incorporate these because typically you can do a pound for pound. If you feed 10 pounds of hay a day, you can literally cut that in half, feed 5 pounds of pellets, 5 pounds of hay. Now obviously there's going to be some differences for horses that might have problems chewing or anything like that, or have never had pellets, but I want to kind of go show you the different sizes and things, because actually by soaking these, your horse might actually get more out of their forage by soaking these versus just trying to chew on hay with bad teeth. So as far as cubes go, we have a few options. This is a standard cube. These aren't quite as compressed as some other brands, so they're really easy for horses to chew. They come apart really easily. This particular one is an Alfalfa Timothy, so if you feed Alfalfa Timothy hay, then this is a really easy addition into your horse's diet, because again, diversity is going to be the biggest key here. We do have straight alfalfa, and then we actually have a Timothy base. These are not these are a 3/4 cube. These are not necessarily standard or necessarily as common necessarily, but these are only 3/4 cube that we have. So it's a little smaller. This is actually Timothy and Beet Pulp, so it's a balanced cube. So if you feed a straight Timothy to your horse, then this would be the one you'd want to incorporate. To be honest, doing a half and half, slowly getting your horse half cubes or pellets and half hay is not a bad idea, because if you run out of hay, you can make that switch to all cubes temporarily relatively easy. Now obviously there's some horses that are really sensitive to switches, but again, if you're half and half, you're already pretty much there. So, or if you come in and you're wanting to get your cubes, don't have any cubes, you can go to all hay and you can do that back and forth. Pellets, few options on pellets. The Stanley brand of pellets, not as many people are familiar with. They're a smaller pellet. They soak really well. Again, they're not quite as compact as some of the others out there, so they soak really well. So they're a little smaller than, these are traditional hay pellets that probably a lot of you are used to as far as size goes. And again, we have straight grass, straight alfalfa. This particularly is an Alfalfa Bermuda mix. I feed this personally to my guys, and I'm almost at a 50-50 hay and pellet ratio in their diet, just because again, I want to be able to, if something's out of stock or something's not coming in, then I've got an option to switch to. And again, I mean, these can be soaked. We have another video you can check back on soaking these products to make it easier for horses to chew. But most horses do pretty well. I will touch briefly on complete feeds. A lot of people don't realize that there's feeds out there that are considered complete feeds because they have forage built in. So these are actually feeds. You can feed nothing but this. You don't have to feed hay. Now that's not, it's a little bit more expensive of an option, but again, if your horse is already on senior, then you might want to switch to or consider or look, you may be already feeding a senior that's a complete feed. You can increase the amount of this that you feed and feed a little less hay, again, to make your hay last a little longer, or if you're just having a hard time getting hay. Beet pulp is another great way to add fiber to your horse's diet. It's not necessarily a pound for pound switch option, and it's got more calories than hay. So that one, again, we have another video that you can refer back to on using beet pulp. I'm a big fan, especially in the wintertime, because you can add moisture to your horse's diet. Lastly, I wanted to touch on our compressed bales. A lot of people have not fed these before. These come out of Idaho. great product. What they do is they take a 50 to 60 pound bale and they compress it down. This makes storage really easy, shipping really easy, and it's a really, really nice product. So I'm actually going to open the bale here for you guys, just so you can see. It doesn't plop open like crazy. It's really easy to store, really good quality hay. You'll see that in the process of compressing, the product does get compressed. So these are not necessarily thick stalks. These have been, in the process of compressing them, are just squished down. So, I mean, really, sometimes some people think that this is a coarse stalk, but it's not. Half of the horse's work, or part of the horse's work's already been done because it's been compressed down, so it's going to be easy for them to chew. Like I said, I mean, the quality's great. The thing about feeding these guys is you always want to feed by volume, or excuse me, by weight, not by volume, by weight. And so this flake's actually really heavy because it's been compressed down. I know it doesn't look like much. When I feed these, I like to fluff them for my old horse because he's kind of a pig and he eats his food really fast. My younger horse likes to sit there and eat. So if you fluff it, you'll see that there's a lot of hay in this one flake. We always really push weighing your food and weigh your horse, because if you're feeding your horse that's supposed to be 1,000 pounds and you're feeding him the equivalent of like a 1,200 pound horse, then you're wasting a lot of money there. So evaluating your horse's body condition. Me personally, I was actually able to drop quite a bit of weight off of my horses. They look great. I'm saving money on hay. My hay's lasting longer. And so that's an important thing to do too. And I'm a big fan of weighing feed. The hay I've been feeding for so long, I've got that kind of figured out. But as far as like my pellets and stuff go, I've actually weighed those out, so I know that my horses are getting exactly what they need. They're not getting an ounce more, an ounce less. I'm maximizing my feed by feeding what they're supposed to be getting. Most horses, you want to feed anywhere from 1.5% to 2% of their weight, body weight, in forage. And so it's really easy to waste money that way if you're feeding just a hair too much over the course of a couple months or a year or even a month. It definitely adds up. And so we're big advocates of weighing feed. We have a scale in the store. We're always happy to weigh feed. So if you want to bring in your feed scoop with your pellets, or you're buying pellets, we can open that bag up and weigh it for you, so you know. You may have thought, oh, I'm feeding about 1 pound. Well, what if it's 2 pounds? Or what if it's 1.5 pounds? So there's a lot of potential to save money there. So again, we're always here to help, always happy to help with any questions that you might have. Please stop by or give us a call and we're happy to help. Thank you.